戦争に綺麗事はいらねえんだよ。
奴があの車を待っていたのか、あの車が奴を待っていたのか、計り知れないリスクに挑ませる不思議な力、出会った者にしかわからないその魔力。そう、やはりあの Z は悪魔だ。
遺体の推定年齢は55から60歳。死後半年くらいだとさ。冬を越せなかったんだべな。最近じゃ車上生活者の行き倒れなんて珍しくもないけど、なんもこんな山の中でな。
本当ですよ、もういい迷惑ですよ。
だべな。それ犬の墓だ。遺体の脇に白い秋田犬の死骸が発見されてな。
犬ですか？
ああ、犬の方は死んで間もなかったんだ。主人の死が理解できなくて起き上がるのを半年間ずーっと待ってたんでねえかな。
犬はいつでも待ってますからね。
かわいそうに。
Number 5, Hoshi Mamoru Inu, or as you might be able to find it in the US, Star Watching Dog. Now, this is yet another one that was another movie that was adapted straight from a manga, and I know for a fact that there aren't very many people who are familiar with this story, but it's very, very sad. It's very good, but it's very sad. And the story of Hoshi Mamoru Inu is basically how this man and his dog are found in a park dead. And they've been dead for months, and it's up to a government employee to find out who these people are so that they can properly bury them, or not people, who this man and his dog are, to properly bury them and give the family notice. So the manga is actually in not volumes, but comes in two halves. The first half is completely from the dog's perspective, from the time he's found by this man to the time that the dog dies, and the man dies. Actually, the man dies before the dog, so up to the point when the dog dies. And it's a very, very heart-wrenching series. Just because it allows you to see. Oh my God, I'm catching feels just from thinking about this movie. This story is very, very emotional. But it shows you both the good and the bad of both the good side and the bad side of man. So yeah, the movie on the other hand was very good, and they had to, because of how the manga was done, they actually blended it all into one. So the movie is actually from the government workers' perspective only, and once he goes and he backtracks along the lives, these footsteps these steps that the man and the dog took. Then the story of what happened, it comes out through him interviewing these people and trying to find out their history. So it's a very, very good movie. There is also a sequel called Zoku Mamoru Ino. No, sorry, Zoku Hoshi Mamoru Ino, which actually is about the dog's sibling, because when he was found, there were two of them, and he was the malnourished one, and the other one was the unhealthy he the healthy one, and the other one was the malnourished one. I forget, but fortunately that one is a lot happier. So yeah, it's a very good story. If you can find it, check it out. Hoshi Mamoru Inu, or Star Watching Dog.
何が何でも通したい男ができた。ケチケチしねえでどんどんハガキを送ってよこせ。強敵だ。それだけにやりがいもある。左ジャブで敵の体勢を崩し、突破口を見出せば、すかさず右ストレートを打つべし。これ、伝統の攻撃における基本なり。
Number 4, Ashita no Joe, or Tomorrow's Joe. So, if this is yet another series that I have not actually encountered myself. I know of it, but this is a Shonen Jump title, if I remember correctly, from the 70s. I want to say either the 60s or the 70s, and this is the original boxing series. And about 5 to 10 years ago, there was a live action movie made about this. This story is about a guy who decides to become a professional boxer. He is, if I remember correctly, he's out on his luck, and he meets this guy. I think he met a guy who inspired him to become a boxer. In terms of that, he tried to fight him, and the guy was a boxer, so he would only fight him as a boxer. I think that's what it was. I forget the specifics. But Ashita no Joe, or Tomorrow's Joe, is the original boxing series. I know most people know of Hajime no Ippo, and Hajime no Ippo is one of the longer running manga series out there. It's about 1,100 chapters plus, going strong. But Ashita no Joe is the original one, and this movie is actually very, very good. Once again, the pacing is done very well. I forgot to mention it takes place in the 60s. But yeah, once again, this is a very, very good movie. I saw this about a couple of years ago, so I don't remember any problems that I had with it at the time. So yeah, number 4, Ashita no Joe.
日本で販売されている出版物全体の 36.5% を占めているのが漫画雑誌であり、漫画単行本だ。漫画がなかったらほとんどの出版社や本屋はとっくに潰れている。
そしてその中心であり常に王者として君臨し続けているのが少年ジャンプだ。
週刊少年ジャンプ1968年創刊。当時少年誌の中では後発だったジャンプは人気作家を確保できなかった逆境を逆手に取り、新人漫画家の積極的な起用で他の少年誌に対抗した。
1970年代後半、ギャグ漫画路線を強化することによって急激に売上部数が上がり200万部を突破。
1980年代、鳥山明ドクタースランプの大ブレイクをきっかけに次々とヒット作が生まれ300万部突破。それらの作品は次々にテレビアニメ化され、関連グッズも大ヒットした。
その勢いは止まることなく、1985年には400万部、1988年には500万部を突破。これは国民の20人に1人、小中学生男子の2人に1人は少年ジャンプを買っていた計算になる。
そして1995年、3、4合併号で653万部というジャンプ歴代最高部数を記録。これは日本の出版史上、漫画を含めた全ての週刊誌、雑誌の売上部数としても最高記録となり、以降この数字を塗り替えた出版物はない。
それ以降も友情、努力、勝利をコンセプトに 徹底したアンケート主義と漫画家との専属契約により大ヒット作品を連発。未だ漫画界の王者として君臨し続けている。
Number 3, Bakuman. Yeah, so we've got yet another Shonen Jump title here, Bakuman, the story of the kids who want to become manga artists. And this is, once again, I'm sorry, this is another one I haven't actually seen in person in terms of the original story. But the movie itself was great. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And the pacing was perfect. This movie was really, really close to becoming one of my top 2. It would have been like a 1 or 2, and it was actually extremely solid up to the end. and I mean literally up to the end. It was great. It was enjoyable. It gave you some ideas about how the manga industry works. It was well paced, and then and it was just fantastic, and you know, it tugged on your heartstrings too, and I mean, at the literal end is when it just kind of went south, because I guess they had nowhere to go with it. But yeah, it was great literally up until the end, and the ending basically is what knocked it down a level or 2. The ending is basically what knocked it down a level or 2. So yeah, it was very, very good movie, Bakuman, from Takeshi Obata. I think that's his name, Takeshi Obata. Basically the guys behind Death Note.
勝負はおそらく抜刀術の打ち合い。剣則は互角でも人を殺めることを何とも思わぬ剣とそうでない剣とでは技の切れに明確な差が出る。
Here comes the surprises. Number 2, Kenshin 2, Kyoto Inferno. Yeah, Kenshin is number 2. If you haven't seen Kenshin by now, if you haven't seen the Kenshin movies by now, you have to see them if you're an anime fan. If you love Kenshin, you have to see them. If you're an anime fan and you don't think live action can be done, you have to see this. Any of these movies. There's the Kenshin movies are actually a trilogy, and this one is also stars Takeru Sato, who on this list has also been in Bakuman, and I think that's it actually for this one, for my list. Yeah, I think he's only been in in terms of my personal list, he's only been in Bakuman and Kenshin. But these movies are completely solid, like from beginning to end. Of course, there are some minor changes in terms of the storyline, but any anime fan will tell you that if you're looking for a good live action adaptation, you check out the Kenshin movies. That's all I can really say about it. The Kenshin movies are absolutely amazing. And Kyoto Inferno for me was actually the best of the 3 of them. And this is actually yet another one. No, this has the guy from Death Note. That's what it was. This doesn't have Shinoguri. It has I forgot the guy's name, but he's the guy who plays Makoto Shishio plays Light in Death Note. So yeah, but yeah, that's it. Kenshin 2 is number 2. finally, number one. Here we are. Who took number one? Well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and let him take the winner's circle himself.
With less than 250 kilometers to go, nothing seems to stand between Toga Khan and victory.
That's right. It's Speed Racer from the Wachowski brothers. A Hollywood movie made it into number one. Speed Racer. If you haven't seen it, you have to see this. Speed Racer, out of every live action adaptation I've seen, Speed Racer is the best. There's a little part where it kind of drags in the middle, but overall, it's the most enjoyable experience. It is the movie that most feels like watching an anime. Like from the special effects to the acting, the cartooniness, the settings, everything, the characters, it's just perfect. It was absolutely extremely well done. And it's the only reason I feel like it flopped was because nobody cared enough to see it. Like it's not like Dragon Ball Evolution where people went to see it and then they hated it. Speed Racer was actually a great film, but nobody went to see it. That was the problem. So yes, and the crazy part is Speed Racer was the movie. Speed Racer was the very first major motion, Hollywood major motion adaptation of an anime or manga, and nobody went to see it. That was the problem. So that was why it failed. That was why it flopped. It was amazing, and in my opinion, is considered. I know there are a bunch of other people who say it's one of the most underrated films of all time. So, Speed Racer. Absolutely number one. If you haven't seen it, you must go see Speed Racer. It was incredible. So, yeah. Number one, Speed Racer from the Wachowskis. So there goes my list. That's my list of top 15 plus a few extras for honorable mention. Now, of course, unfortunately, there are still a lot more for me to see. I haven't been able to watch every live action adaptation out there, partially because some of them I just can't get. Such as A Distant Neighborhood, which is a French film. That's an adaptation of a Jiro Taniguchi manga, the same name. There's another Jiro Taniguchi manga that was adapted into a movie called what was it called? Kamigami no Itadaki. Yeah, Kamigami no Itadaki, or Summit of the Gods. And that movie came out last year, if I remember correctly. What else? There's the Golgo 13 movie. I wasn't able to. I can't find it. I would love to be able to watch the Golgo 13 movie. Barefoot Gen. Barefoot Gen's an amazing manga, and it's semi-autobiographical, and I can't find the movie for that, or the movies. I can't find the movies for that. I do have the Lone Wolf and Cub movies. I just didn't. There's 6 of them though, and I didn't really get around to watching them. But there's a lot of adaptations out there. But pretty much any of the major ones that you can think of that are within those 4 categories list of 4 that I mentioned, I've seen it. I've generally seen it. I'm looking forward to the new ones that are coming out this year. I believe Tokyo Ghoul is coming out this year. Gintama's coming out this year. Blade of the Immortal actually just came out this year. I was just reminded of that on a Facebook post. I was over in Japan and I saw the ads for it, but I didn't realize that's what it was for, because all the ads said 1 versus 100 instead of Blade of the Immortals. So, let's see, what else? Full Metal Alchemist is coming out this year, so there's a lot of stuff coming out. So hopefully I'll be able to watch some of those in the coming time. So yeah, let me know what you thought of my list. Like, comment, subscribe. I told you guys I was going to get this list out there. And until next time, you guys, be excellent to one another and party on, dudes. Of what they're doing. And the movie, actually, here's the thing. The movie was actually really accurate. It was really good. However, if you're a fan of the series, there are only 2 major issues with this movie, and I said it in my review, and I know one other guy said it in his review. Everybody else who reviewed it, from what I saw on YouTube, was not actually familiar